Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a headline from you today. XRP plots bullish rebound on 2.4 billion traded tokens. And so this is coming off some recent lows where XRP volume was uncharacteristically low, and I highlighted that in a fairly recent video, but not that there's necessarily anything weird or bad or terrible about that. A lot of times you see low volume before some major stuff happens, so that in and of itself not alarming. But part of what they're attributing this to, and I'm not so sure I'm convinced of this, is word about an XRP ETF moving forward. You may have heard the other day, I didn't get to talk about this yet as I didn't make YouTube videos yesterday, but Brad Garlinghouse on national television predicted there will be an XRP ETF, and he predicted by when that's likely to occur. So let's talk about that and the implications, because there are some ideas on social media being bandied about which I just respectfully disagree with, but I'll get you the latest. Before going further, though, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so into this first piece. XRP, the payment token associated with Ripple Labs Inc., is currently exhibiting a bullish rebound with approximately 2.4 billion tokens traded within the last 24 hours. XRP's recent movement is quite notable as it follows a decline since May 21st. And so in recent days, as far as volume, I mean, I saw XRP volume, I don't know if this is the literal low, but I saw it at like $575 million for a 24-hour period. And that is a lot lower than normal. Like in recent days, or recent weeks and months, I mean, it's been much more normal to see XRP closer to $1 billion. It was down about 40%, but those moments do happen. So that in and of itself, to me, I didn't think it was bizarre. But there are some articles, I just think it's just an incorrect narrative, but they're painting a picture that, see, this thing's not looking so hot for XRP. I don't think that's what that proves or shows, but that's subjective opinion, so whatever. Anyway, piece continues. The current surge in XRP's price can be attributed to the current rebound on the broader crypto market. Top cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin saw the price increase substantially in the past few days. Additionally, expectations for the launch of a spot XRP ETF may have also influenced positive sentiment on the market. The anticipation is based on the recent approval of spot Ethereum ETFs by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Accordingly, some analysts and crypto enthusiasts believe XRP could be the next crypto to get regulatory ETF approval. Yeah, and so as far as the ETH stuff, that was a surprise for pretty much everybody in the crypto space, including me. And it's very clear why it happened. It's because the Biden administration is pandering, and so from the top down, at least the narrative has changed. The way that they're paying lip service, complete 180. A lot more positive sounding in the world of crypto. Now we need to see actual actions that follow the lip service. But given that happened, it's now not a surprise to suppose, it's not unreasonable to suppose, that you will see XRP and other major cryptocurrencies sooner than later have spot ETFs. And look, I said last year, there will one day be an XRP ETF. It's just a matter of time. I'm not going to make a prediction on time. And I was skeptical of this happening under the reign of Kim Jong-Gensler, though with the way things have shifted since to this election, being a lot tighter here in the United States than, based on the polls, than I think a lot were expecting. Who knows at this point? It certainly could happen sooner than later, but then is that really the reason that we've seen this rebound in terms of volume and a little bit higher price for XRP? I'm not convinced of that. I think that the asset class is just moving in tandem, and when XRP breaks, and we don't know for sure when that's going to happen, it's just because you don't have to attach a narrative. It's just, you don't need a narrative. It's because markets go, like they just go. It's the supply and demand dynamics happening in real time, and eventually there are enough buyers or enough sellers to push the price up or down in a notable way. Once you have a notable break, that draws more attention to the coin, and so with us being in a bull market, though, that's why this is so exciting when it comes. People are going to treat XRP just the same way they treat any other cryptocurrency, which is to say, people that don't know a damn thing about XRP, when they see it going, they will put money in it. People don't want XRP when it's sitting around 52 or 53 cents. They will want it at $5 and $10 because I know that's stupid. That's human nature. People absolutely will FOMO in. They do that with every coin, Bitcoin, ETH, all the way down the line, and it has happened with XRP in the past too. And if you think it's not going to happen this market cycle, you out your damn mind, son, as far as I'm concerned here. But XRP ETF coming, it will be good over a longer period of time. I think that it will have a notable impact on price of XRP. I just think that the degree to which an XRP ETF in the short term will impact the price of XRP on a global scale, I think it's overblown in the short term and then not sufficiently appreciated over the longer haul. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple CEO finally issues timeline for XRP ETFs to launch. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has confidently issued a timeline for the launch of an XRP spot exchange-traded fund. Garlinghouse's latest commentary on the subject came up during an interview yesterday with Fox Business. He emphasized the significance of other crypto spot ETFs besides Bitcoin, noting they are necessary for diversification. Moreover, he noted that interest in crypto ETFs is high, as evidenced by U.S. Bitcoin spot ETFs reaching multi-billion-dollar valuations in 2 months, which took comparable investments for gold years to attain. Also, Garlinghouse commented on the U.S. SEC's now open arms to crypto spot ETFs amid the approvals for Ethereum ETFs. He suggested this shift stemmed from the regulator's previous court losses and setbacks. Well, that's certainly true. If not for the court setbacks, I don't think that we would have a spot Bitcoin ETF today. And if not for this being a tight race, I don't think that you would have seen this 180 flip from the Biden administration from the top on down. But here we are. So that's good for anybody in crypto. The piece continues though. Considering these factors, the Ripple CEO conveyed confidence that ETFs for XRP, Solana, and Cardano are inevitable. Meanwhile, Fox correspondent Liz Klayman questioned whether the SEC might show particular resistance to an XRP ETF given its history with Ripple. In response, the Ripple CEO stated that the SEC would have a hard time winning such an argument. He reinforced XRP's potential by recalling its past position just behind Bitcoin in market ranking, strengthening the argument for an XRP ETF as investors look for diversification options. When pressed by the host for a timeline on when an XRP ETF might become a reality, Garlinghouse optimistically stated it is not too far away, and that's a quote. Specifically, the Ripple CEO suggested that an XRP ETF could launch by next year, 2025. And so that would be fantastic to see. I want to talk more about the implications of that in just a second here. But first, there is this question from my fellow XRP YouTuber, Digital Asset Investor. He said, I'm confused as to why Brad Garlinghouse thinks the XRP ETF is inevitable, but a Ripple IPO couldn't happen because it has to be approved by Creepshow Gary Gensler, so would the ETF. This one baffles me. Well, I actually do know why, so I'd be happy to share that with you. You may recall that a year or so ago, Ripple went on what's known as a roadshow, in which they were basically traveling around the country, having events held to raise interest in an IPO for their company, for Ripple. That was happening. Now, typically when you do this, there's a very high probability that what will actually follow is an actual IPO. And so Ripple was optimistic that was going to happen. And I heard through the grapevine from people who are absolutely in the know that Ripple thought, if you could check the pulse in the Ripple from the Ripple execs in the first, say, 3 or 4 months of last year, if you behind closed doors, what would they have said? Like, when's Ripple going public? From what I've heard, it would have been by the end of last year, 2023. Now, that obviously didn't happen, but they went on the roadshow because there was that expectation. So why didn't it happen? Well, Brad Garlinghouse, this kind of leaked, so I talked about it, but Brad Garlinghouse wrote a letter to Ripple investors explaining why it wasn't happening. And in a nutshell, and so this isn't speculation, we know that it is because of the regulatory uncertainty. Not with XRP. Now, mind you, XRP has legal clarity. We know that since July 13th of last year, XRP Victory Day, right? But Ripple is still in a lawsuit. So they might have jumped the gun a little bit by going on that roadshow, pushing for an IPO before the remedies phase of the lawsuit had concluded. made it far less likely that there would be sufficient investor interest. And so that's what happened. And then there's also on top of that the question of, okay, what about appeals? And that's going to be another hurdle for them. And so yes, the SEC would have to approve an IPO, but is there investor interest with this cloud hanging over? Not sufficient interest. That's the answer. That's the truth. Now, as far as XRP, XRP has legal clarity. That's very different. So the reason so that's why you wouldn't see the IPO anytime soon. I mean, I still think you're going to see a Ripple IPO. Don't get me wrong. It's going to happen. It's an inevitability. It's just kind of a question when, but it got pushed back as a result of this. Now, as far as an XRP ETF, though, well, any firm under the sun, unrelated to Ripple, can push for an XRP ETF. XRP has legal clarity. It would be hard, ultimately, for the SEC to successfully fend off from an XRP ETF application. You know, they can slow it down. They can say no, and then somebody would end up suing the SEC, and they'd probably win. But that's different. So that's not Ripple, though. So that's the answer to the digital asset investors question. They're very different things. And as far as who would be applying for them, different entities. And so again, I do think both are going to happen. It's just a matter of time. There's also this headline. I'm not really going to read the article, but Ripple president says XRP ETF would make a lot of sense. And so the Ripple president is Monica Long. I'll just share the quote here. She said, here we go. If you think about it, only XRP and Bitcoin have regulatory clarity on status in the US. XRP has been a top 10 asset by market cap and is about the top 5 if you look at daily traded volume. So I think that it will make a lot of sense, end quote. Yeah, so that's true except for the part where Bitcoin has regulatory clarity. It does not. There has been no decree, nothing from the SEC that Bitcoin does. XRP is actually the only large cap coin that has legal clarity in the United States. So I disagree respectfully with that one point. I don't know why. I see a lot of people say that Bitcoin has clarity. I don't get it. Where is that coming from? Show me what entity gave it clarity, where, how, when, why. Like, there is no answer because it didn't happen. So nothing against her, but I'm getting a little particular. But you know, it is just XRP that has this regulatory clarity. And it has always been in the top 10 coins. So, of course, there will be all sorts of entities ultimately that want to have spot XRP ETFs, and it's going to happen. So I just thought I'd highlight that a little bit further. Now, as far as the implications of this, well, take a look at this post from Checkmate, who previously worked at Glassnode. I can't remember his title, something like lead analysts, something to that effect. So I'm a big fan of Glassnode. The work that he's done has been fantastic. Very data-driven organization, so they do their best to draw reasonable conclusions, try to stay outside of the echo chamber just based on real data. And so here's a post from Checkmate, and he's talking about Bitcoin ETFs, and you'll see why. Because I think that the concept here, it absolutely applies to XRP. You'll see why I said people overstate the importance of an XRP ETF in the short term and then underestimate it in the long haul. Same thing with the Bitcoin ETF. So here's this post. Many folks seem surprised that $880 million plus ETF inflows only pushed the Bitcoin price up to $71,000. Think about how big Bitcoin is. $580 billion realized cap. So that's 660 times larger than that $880 million figure. And then he says $1.5 trillion market cap, which is 1,700 times larger. So he says, even with a 5x multiple, 880 million has an effective size of approximately 0.3% relative to the market size. We're in big number territory, folks. Right, there you go. And I've been saying this for the longest damn time. I think that this whole narrative about what Bitcoin, what would happen to Bitcoin price this market cycle if we get an approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF, I think that was overblown very clearly. But now imagine this continuing to happen over a span of 10, 20, 30 years. Well, that's huge. That's gigantic. So that's why this idea of XRP, I mean, if it's really going to continue to be successful, the idea of XRP, perhaps even being worth 3 digits one day, over $100, absolutely plausible. Now, I won't go so far as to make a prediction. I never make price predictions, and I don't know what's going to happen. But if XRP is truly going to have long-term viability, yes, it's plausible to suppose that might happen. I mean, think about real world, and it's more than just the ETF, but all the real world adoption, usage. It's clearly here. XRP's been around. It's existed. Its birthday was actually June 2nd, so it's been alive for 12 years now. And it keeps going in the right direction in terms of adoption and now even regulatory clarity. Yeah, it just keeps getting better. So anyway, if we do get the approval, it's going to be great. And maybe you get a temporary price spike because people are speculating and they're all excited. But in terms of the actual supply and demand dynamics, in the short term, it won't matter. Not really. Over the long haul, yes, it can be game changing for the price of XRP. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.